Hi. In this video, we're going to take a few minutes just to talk about Twitter and to set up a Twitter account. So Twitter, it's pretty easy. Just go to twitter.com. So when you go to Twitter, the first thing you want to do is sign up. If you're uncomfortable with your name being public, you can of course use a pseudonym, but we want you to get used to and have experience with having a public Twitter account. So while there are benefits of having your full name, some people prefer to set up a pseudonym like John Doe or even something like, EdTech Sally. So the first thing you do when you come to the Twitter site is you put in your full name. I'm going to put Sally Sue. I'm going to put my junk mail email that I use for specific accounts. And I'm going to hit sign up for Twitter. So it checks, name looks good, everything looks good. Now here it recommends a username. So I could go with this, or see how it has some suggestions based on combination of my name and email. Or I could say EdTech Sally Sue. And it says that's available, so that looks good. So keep me signed in on this computer, that's fine. Tailor Twitter based on my recent website visits. You might find that useful, but I tend to not, so I'm going ahead and hit create account. So now it says get started in less than 60 seconds. I'm going to hit next. And so what it's doing right away is it wants you to start building your timeline. That is picking people that you want to follow. So I live in Idaho, so there are some basic Idaho things that they think are important. This is where you can go ahead and start adding anything that's of interest. Now, while some people specifically like to use Twitter for professional reasons, some people find that they like to mix and match personal interests. I've actually met students who say they don't get Twitter until they got into following it for their hobbies. So you'll find that, so I'm just going to check a few of these for now. Okay, so then I'm going to hit next. So now it's even going through this, recommending some more. It wants me to, pick some sports. So that's fine. You can always tailor this later and clean up your list. I'm going to hit next. And so here it wants you to search for your contacts. I'm going to hit skip this step. And then upload an image. This goes back to the pseudonym and anonymity. Some people on Twitter will say that if someone doesn't have a picture, it doesn't even have to be of themselves, and if they don't fill out the bio, then they're not going to even spend time following that person. So with your bio, try to get creative and give someone a reason why they might want to follow you. Play with it. Right now it shows that I'm following 6 people. This is the standard Twitter interface, and so you'll notice that I'm on home, so you can see who I am, how many tweets, how many people, and how many followers I have. So if I go back to the following, if I don't want to follow any of these people, the more I think about it, Carmelo Anthony is no longer with the Denver Nuggets. I'm not interested. Nah, I'm not interested in you either. So that would work fine. You can also later go in here and edit your profile. So you might start off not wanting to have a bio, but then change your mind. But it's highly recommended that you fill out this stuff as much as you feel comfortable, because it's going to really make a difference. So much of Twitter and social networking is about who you follow and the communities you take part in. So here are some others it's recommending. I can see some trending topics. So these are called hashtags, and so we'll talk more about those in a second. But using the basic Twitter webpage, I could post my first tweet. So it tells me down here how many characters. I could use my location if I wanted to, and I could add an image. But I'm going to hit tweet, and just like that, you can see there it is. So then I can see connecting will show me conversations or interactions I've had with other people. I can also go through the Discover, and I can just start searching through other things that might be of interest. And even up here I can type in things. And so I can start going through here and reading about people who've tweeted about educational technology. And you can always click on a person and find out, get an idea, how many times have they tweeted, how many people are following them and how many are they following, vice versa, and reading their bio and seeing their picture. And this will help you get an idea of, are these people that you think you can learn from and that you can benefit from the same way that, they might be interested in following you back. they might not. Keep in mind that you might follow a lot of people who don't follow you back. So now I'm going to go to my normal Twitter account, and here I am, and you can see that I'm at P. Lowenthal, and this is my short little bio. I have my personal website. You can see how many tweets I've made. You can see how many people I'm following and how many followers I have. You can also start to get an idea. If I click on tweets, I can get an idea of, what does this person actually tweet about? Is this something that I'm interested in following or not? And so I can start going down. Okay, he retweeted. He likes to retweet, and actually I do. That's just interacting back and forth, so you can start to get an idea. And so in my case, while I'm definitely interested in instructional design and technology, I also follow things with music, with food, with family members, etc. And so you can also check out my favorites. So when I see a tweet that I like, that I want to come back to, or that I want to remember, sometimes if I just want to give props for a great post, I will favorite it. And then I have some lists, so you can go through and you can see lists that I've made. And so these become helpful, for instance, during a conference. Sometimes people make a list of different people at the conference. You can also, I have a list here of just people who are what I consider instructional design and technology people. And so while I'm following thousands of people, this list is much shorter. And so this is the basic Twitter interface. So a lot of people love just working with Twitter in their web browser or on their phone using an app on their phone, or even through text messaging you can set Twitter up to do that. However, to really leverage Twitter, you need to check out some Twitter clients. Apps, people call them all kinds of things, but they're basically a friendlier way for most people to interact with Twitter. And sometimes other social networks, because some of these Twitter apps will connect with Facebook and LinkedIn and others. So the bottom line, the Twitter landscape is changing, and it's always changing. And perhaps by the time you watch this, these aren't going to be the best Twitter apps. But right now, if you Google best Twitter clients, you'll see a few things come up. And, for the most part, they're some of the same ones that have been around the last couple of years. But if I click on this first one, it gives me, 22 best Twitter apps. And you'll start going down, and so the first one it's saying basically the Twitter web client or Apple users, you also can download Twitter client that works really well, and then they like Twitterrific, and it goes on. And there's some of these are ones that I've never tried. Actually, the majority of these are ones I've never tried, but this is something to check out. However, here's another one that I pulled up, and I like the way that they actually rated this in different ways. And so, according to this, Seesmic, Hootsuite, Twitter, TweetDeck, Brizzly, Twirl, Tweety, Twitterrific, Twitterfeed. There's one more, isn't there? No, those are the top 9, it looks like. So in my case, I've used before, though it's been over a year, I've used Hootsuite, I've used Twitter, TweetDeck, Brizzly, Twirl, Twitterrific. So I'm familiar with most of these. With that said, we recommend that you spend some time to download some of these and get comfortable with them. The one that I use day to day is TweetDeck. So I'm going to show you TweetDeck, and then I will show you a couple others. With that said, I only like TweetDeck on my desktop, on my computer, my laptop, whatever. I don't like it on my mobile phone. So that's just something to keep in mind, that on my mobile phone, I just use the basic Twitter app, and it works great. However, when I have a big monitor and I have space to work with, TweetDeck's what I prefer. I tend to use Google Chrome most of the time, so I actually even have it right in here. You can download it as one of the basic apps. So TweetDeck, when I bring it up, the reason I like TweetDeck is I can have Facebook and Twitter in one space, and I'm trying to record this in a small resolution, but on my 27-inch monitor, I can stretch this across, and this is all my Twitter friends, this is my news feed, this is my instructional design technology list that I talked about, and this is friends and family. These are things that people have sent right at me. Here's a list that I've created based on people in Boise or related to Boise. Here's something on music. And sometimes if a conference is taking place, I would actually create a new column, and based on this, I would do a search. I'm going to search for a hashtag, and that's a way that essentially people who tweet, they can tag things. You can see some of the ones I've done in the past. So courses I've taught, here's conferences I've gone to, EDUCAUSE is one that's coming up, and so I can search by this, and if I scroll all the way down, I can hit add column, and just like that, you'll see my EduCalls column. And so that's one of the reasons why I love TweetDeck. Now, if I go to Google and I Google TweetDeck, and you'll see Twitter actually acquired them, but it's tweetdeck.com. And so with Twitter clients, there's some like this that actually just take place in your browser, which I prefer. However, you can also download TweetDeck and use the desktop application. What's nice about that, especially if you find yourself working on a laptop that you later plug into a monitor, is that you can basically merge the columns into one, and it can take up very little landscape on your monitor on your screen, which is nice if you have a laptop. So if you don't want this huge effect, if you will. But, spend some time. Definitely recommend checking out TweetDeck. Play around with adding some columns. And so for this course, the hashtag for this course is going to be EdTechSN for social networks. So you'll want to definitely set up a column for that. And because this is brand new, you might not see any, but we will. All right, so we've added it. So now the way I basically in TweetDeck, so if I want to tag something, this is a way to help other people search it. I could do more than one, and you'll see even people will play around and be funny with this. But if I hit tweet, so now you'll notice that in the column that I created, there it is. So this is the basic of TweetDeck. Spend some time, click on the gears, go through the settings. You can set up Facebook, you can set up a number of different options, MySpace, whatever makes sense, but you definitely want to set up a basic column for EdTechSN. So now let's take a look at some of the other. And so if I go here, so you'll see that they're basically advertising their new phone app, and so I can download it for an Android or an iOS phone. The thing to keep in mind with this one, so I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to click on price plans, is that there's basically a free plan, there's a plus plan, and a pro plan, and so you have to decide what makes sense for you. And so for this, I can get a free Windows desktop app, so I'll spend a minute and do that. So I'm playing around with Sally Sue again. And some people swear by these. And if we go back to this, this was a highly rated one. And so obviously some people are completely okay with paying for it. So it wants my basic information from Twitter. And this is where, nearly all of these apps is you basically have to authorize it and say you're okay with it interacting with Twitter. And so just like that, I have my account set up. And so I could go through here and add Facebook, LinkedIn, Tumblr, WordPress. But right now I'm going to go to the web and check it out. And so you'll notice that by default it's set up my basic Twitter feed with the people that I'm following, and then anyone who's actually sent a message directly to me. And so you do that by, let's say I want to send myself with my real account a message. Okay, send update, just like that. And you could actually hear, this is TweetDeck, in the background that's that little dinging noise. So we could go on and on checking out all the different options with this popular client, but just spend some time. For the first year I think I used Twitter, I used Twirl as my client. And it's one of the ones listed on these. There it is. It's a real small one. It looks like, an instant message client, so I like that, especially when working on a laptop. However, if you're a Mac user, the Twitter one's great. It's just TweetDeck and some of these others just give you more options. So let's see. Alright, so let's go to this last one. Just give you an example. I'm going to sign up once again. I'm going to uncheck newsletters. I'm not interested. And one thing to point out that this one too has plans where you can, some people call it a freemium plan. They try to get you with the basics, but then over time they want you to pay. So right now it prompts me, do I want to add any of these? And right now I'm just going to say add Twitter profile. And Google Plus, this is the first one out there that's using Google Plus right now. And so I haven't spent enough time investigating how that works, but I'm going to click connect with Twitter. I'm going to authorize it. I'm going to tell it to remember me. And just like that, you'll see So this one brings up another thing that we didn't talk before. So this is my basic feed of where it shows things I've posted as well as people that I'm following. Alright, so this is my basic feed. Then this is people who've sent messages to me by putting at P. Lowenthal, or in this case at EdTechSallySue. But this one's direct messages, and those are actually private. And so mentions are public. And so you can interact back and forth. You can put more than one person there, and you can hashtag as well. But direct messages are when you want to send a message to someone privately. And so it's important knowing the difference between these two. And so, like everything else, I can add a stream, and so I can decide how I want to do it. So in this case, this is the one that you want to definitely have for this course, and there it is. So you'll see that they all kind of do similar things. You have to decide which one makes sense for you. Have fun exploring Twitter and have fun exploring each one of these clients. And be sure to spend some time using one of the phone clients as well, because the apps on the phone and being able to tweet when you're out and about really is just one of the very powerful features about Twitter. Thanks.